Welcome to Extra Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James.
And that's a Christmas tree themed Cayman.
We don't explain Extra Throttle House anymore.
Oh, right. Extra Throttle House is the extra channel. That's not the same as the main channel, where we do extra things, like review a Cayman.
I missed that.
Oh.
I missed that.
Okay.
This is going to be featuring in a main video in some way.
Yes.
But we wanted to actually just sit and talk about it for a minute because we haven't covered this car and it's been out for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So, big difference with the GTS. The Cayman and the S get a turbocharged 4-cylinder. This gets the GT4's 4-litre naturally aspirated flat 6. And for that you pay just under 100 grand starting in Canada and just under 90 grand starting in the US.
So just to be clear, so nowadays, in order to get what a Porsche should be, that is a naturally aspirated flat 6.
If you're an elitist, yeah.
No, if you're just a purist,
well,
you have to pay extra and get a special extra model.
Yes.
More money to get what they used to have in the base.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
But it's still reasonably competitive when you think about Stingrays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you notice, this is Python green. So this one's actually optioned to just over 120,000 Canadian.
It's a lot of money.
Just when he pushes it into, well, part of that is it has the Doppelgetriebe.
The Doppelgetriebe?
Doppelgetriebe, which is Porsche's weird word for automatic. I don't know why they pronounce it like that.
Anyway, this is potential to be the best kind of all-around sports car.
So it's cliched, isn't it?
Pretty much,
right? GTS is the sweet spot.
Is the sweet spot.
They always talk
about that. It's not as harsh as the GT4. It doesn't have a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine like the base Cayman.
It's got a little bit less horsepower than the GT4.
Yes. Doesn't rev as high.
Doesn't rev. It's got 7,800 RPM is the red line.
8,000 is the
GT4.
And
then 9,000 in the GT4 RS, and now Spider RS, which they've just announced.
Very cool.
I've been living with this.
Yep.
But you know, in a rare moment for Extra Throttle House, we have access to our track. So why don't we go for a little rip, bud?
You suck at that.
I'm not a citizen yet. Okay. So 394 horsepower on tap, 317 pound-feet of torque. It gets a bit more torque with the PDK than the manual.
Right.
It's light. It's like, I think this is still lighter than an Emira. So that's the key thing.
Porsche has just found, I don't know where they lose the weight, but they do it, and it's so worth it always. There's more boom on the highway. There's more tire noise coming through.
Yeah, the exhaust is what you can hear on the highway. So I've been living with this for a week.
Yes, and I actually did live with one of these in LA.
We did, yeah. We had a yellow one.
We had a yellow
which
one.
didn't have this GTS package, so it felt a lot cheaper inside. And now that I'm in it here for 4 grand, I would spend that.
The leather makes a huge difference of how upmarket this feels, right?
We've also got the 918 Spider seats, which we've now sat in a 918 Spider version of it. If you haven't seen that video, it was pretty wild.
It was a new experience.
These are like 7 grand or 6 grand, so it's a lot of money.
They're not, honestly, I did like 5 hours in these seats, and they're okay.
I did 2 hours this morning in them.
They're okay to drive to the track with.
Yes.
For every day.
BMW, actually, I prefer their bucket seats.
Yes, these are very upright.
Well, BMW has that like bit for the crotch that goes up and it kind of comes in. There's too much room here.
So you want cuppage is what you're saying?
Yeah, because
you want to be cupped.
Yes, because at that point I feel like, oh, I'm glad I'm not well endowed because it wouldn't work. Porsche's like, all right.
So it's just like, it's like a small hand of cuppage is what you're saying. That's what you prefer.
It's just comfort.
Right. So before I really start honking on it here, I'm not in the stiffest mode yet, and the ride is amazing.
It's very good. Porsche suspension is incredible.
Their damping is just so good. There's no harshness whatsoever.
No, I stuck a pregnant lady in this car the other day.
All right.
She's pretty pregnant.
Okay.
And it was a friend's pregnant lady.
Right.
And she thought it'd be funny as well because of the bucket seats. Within 5 minutes, it wasn't funny. Like the seats.
Stop being funny.
Yeah, the seats are definitely tough. But the suspension, I drove into the center of Toronto, and it's fine. Like if you just want to drive this calmly, and that's where it wins over the GT4 because they're not that different in GT4. In price.
Yeah.
The difference between the GT4 and GTS is a lifestyle choice.
Right. Yes. GT4 is definitely a harsher thing to experience.
You can daily this.
Yes.
I would go for the upgraded sound system. This one is meh. But the storage, the way they've managed to get storage space in this car from the front.
The trunk and the trunk.
These
and
little slidey things back here.
It's really clever.
This car is optimized.
It's absolutely beautifully designed, but it is still, no matter what you say for practicality and ride and carrying around pregnant ladies for some reason, you put it in Sport Plus.
Testing. I was just
testing. Yeah. You turn off the traction control, and this is still probably one of the best sports cars on sale right now.
duster there, which I think really adds.
Oh, the
Jesus.
braking forces are
Christ.
just.
So we're on
nuts.
PS4Ss, and we've done a hot lap in this. It's going to be in a different video.
You know what I will say though, is that the noise isn't really that good. And listen, people are gonna go like, oh, shut up, Thomas, it's a flat 6, it's what you wanted. But it just kind of makes one noise.
It's missing a layer.
Yeah, it just goes, bah,
But then I think BMW add that layer in through the speakers, so if that's the solution, then I'm not game.
No, I don't want that.
No.
I don't want that.
But yeah, it doesn't sound as crazy.
It doesn't have like overtones that change as it goes up through cam timing. It just makes a noise, and it's kind of boomy.
This chassis is just wonderful.
This is so
Just wonderful.
I drove one of these that was set up for the track once, and it can be so much better than this is, but this is still amazing. There's like the touch of understeer on the way in, and then you can just use the mass of the engine behind you to just kind of slice through the corner. It's just beautiful to drive.
But this is truly a car. Like, oftentimes we get in Porsches and we're like, you can't experience this car until you take it to the track. You can daily this car, and if you take it to the track, it just excels.
Yep. Like a GT4 is obviously better.
Yes.
But if you just want a weekend track toy that you can live with, this is probably the one to get. Because you're gonna have a little more ground clearance, you're not gonna be scraping everywhere like you are with the GT4, right? You don't really need the aero, like you're not going to like F1 tracks and needing downforce for extra grip for lap times. Unless you are, then kudos to you.
It feels rapid. I mean, this is technically a horsepower. Like, think about the RS3, that's north of 400. The new M2, 453 horsepower. This is not, it doesn't compare.
But it's got the good old-fashioned type of horsepower where you must chase the red line.
Yes.
You must. Like, there really isn't that much torque down low, right?
No,
like, just down 3,000 RPM here, foot down, not much happens. There's instantaneous response from the engine.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not...
Oh, it's just, I love, for some reason, this corner and this car.
You can feel how stiff it is.
It's just lovely.
You can feel how stiff it is, and the damping
Yeah.
doesn't unsettle the car at all.
No,
It's
really
just
a perfect.
absolutely brilliant vehicle.
But it's not, and here's where the Cayman falls down, and we always say you have to drive it at 10 tenths. It really works well as a city car, but like something like the Emira, which we've now driven, feels more fun just zipping around, and then
Yeah, I say all these things. I'm gushing about this car because it's obviously brilliant.
Yes.
But I say it all with the one big caveat that I would take an Emira over this,
yes.
and we have now. Not that I had a choice.
But when it comes to your money, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, technically we've actually put our money where our mouth is, but I think.
How do you turn the traction control all the way off? This is my question that I would like.
Questions that don't need to be answered.
So hold it down, holding it down, holding it down, holding it down. PSM is off. It's not PASM, PSM.
PSM.
PS. Okay, I gotta come to a stop now. All right, come on, don't do this to me.
There we go.
No, that's not all the way off.
It feels off.
It's not off. All right, well.
There's actually a fun mini game here. Like you can,
Yeah,
you stab the throttle and you can throw the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at it. Stab the throttle and throw the.
All right. No, it's the traction control's not off.
Just amazing grip from those PS4s.
Yeah, or the traction control.
Do the mini game.
Do the mini game.
Throw the ball. It's a very expensive mini game because fuel is quite expensive these days.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean.
Why can't I turn the traction control off? I should be able to just like. It doesn't like doing that.
No.
It really doesn't.
This is all about control.
It's all about control.
It does the thing. It deletes the corners. It does
Yeah.
the Porsche thing.
I will say though that of all the cars that we drive around this track, the size and the weight of this is the highlight of it for me.
I love the size.
You feel it in the corner, you feel the wheelbase, you feel the stiffness, you feel the mass, right? It's just minimal. It's so minimal. It's just wonderful.
And that's where it wins for me over like the C8. The C8's a big car.
C8 is big.
I want a tiny little sports car.
The C8 feels good, but it drives much bigger than this, obviously.
It does drive bigger.
There's not that many sports cars that are this small and light. There's like the Miata, there's the Emira, there's the BRZ,
Yes,
and the 8.6 have a similar chassis feel to this in terms of like stiffness and mass. But it is one of the few kind of pure sports cars that's actually left out there.
Yeah, this is starting to become dated here, at least this bit here.
Yeah, this is old and meh, but you know, I'm not really buying a car like this for that, but I mean, I will say that the Emira, because it's next gen, has newer stuff that works quite well.
Yeah.
So there is that.
No, it's a tremendous car. It's not cheap. You don't want your Porsche to be cheap.
Wait, of course I do.
No, you're buying.
If you said to me right now, this is 52 cents, I'd be like, whoa.
No, you're buying a
yeah.
luxury good. Part of having this is that when you roll up, they're like, that's Porsche.
Okay, fine.
If it cost the same as a Nissan Z, it wouldn't have the same level of desirability.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
No, it is quality. There is a quality in here that those cars don't compete with. Yeah.
But I mean, come on. If you're like, hey, it's like 20 grand, you'd be like, well, yeah, this is the one to get then.
You'd wonder why.
You'd wonder why it's
wonder
so
why.
good. Yeah, what's going to happen? No, it's just great. So in conclusion, I have the Emira over this, but I could totally see why you would buy this over an Emira, considering we've heard stories about people taking deliveries of these, where they send you photos of it in its...
Oh yeah, while it's being built.
Well, it's being
the Porsche
built.
factory sends you pictures and shows where it is on the line.
Yep.
The Emira, they're like, maybe 2 years, maybe you'll get it.
Yeah, you might get it.
Maybe.
Where's my car? I have no idea.
And then 2 years later, you get like a 1/18 scale die-cast model.
Yeah, they're like,
that's what you ordered.
This is what you ordered, right? Or it comes in the wrong color.
Yeah, we're impatient.
Yeah.
We've been waiting.
Come on, Lotus.
This exists.
I'm in it right now.